My Christmas sweater got done by Christmas, which meant I was able to work on other things, which meant that I worked on a lot of other things. Hey Flosstube, I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and it is Monday, January 2nd, and I have got goodies to show you. I finished my Christmas sweater. Before our celebration on Christmas Eve, it's a little wonkier than it was. This sweater has a lot of drape, which made it hard to sew embellishments onto. And I was also trying to sew them loosely enough that I could reclaim the sweater after the holidays if I wanted to. A couple of things I learned from this project are next year I'm going to start with a sturdier sweater, and my seatbelt in this sweater did not cooperate well at all. Next year I need to make the drive up wearing a different top and put my sweater on when I get there. I had put everything aside to work on the sweater because I knew if I didn't, the sweater would not get done. So as soon as it was done, I pulled Cuckoo Clock back out. And I filled in some more of this stuff up at the top and worked on the side here. And I am still loving this just as much as I was. I am determined this is going to be a finish this year. And then I started a new start. I started this 2 days ago. It's a kit I got for Christmas. And I made myself wait to start it. I don't know why. I think because I wanted to show my new Christmas kits in this video, and I wasn't going to trash the packaging before I showed it to you, but I picked it up and I started stitching, and this is 2 afternoons of stitching. This is so much smaller than most of my webs. And I wouldn't call it confetti. There's a lot of shading. There are a lot of very similar shades of gray, but it is going well. And I'm remembering all my confetti strategies because they're helping. It's a Dimensions kit. It's called, what is it called? Hang On Kitty. And this is not my usual thing, but this kit is around in all the craft stores, and it just seems very fitting to our current point in time. I got other kits for Christmas. I'm gonna change the camera position so we don't have to play with the glare of the plastic. There's Peaceful Lake House, which is a Dimensions kit. I love the watercolor look of this one and the boats and docks. If it has a house with a boat tied up next to it, I want to stitch it. And then I also got Dimensions Sunlit Fox. I know a lot of other floss tubers have been stitching this one, and it is gorgeous. I know I am going to complain about stitching those leaves, but just look at them and the shading and how beautiful that is. My daughter got me these fantastic organizers, and when I opened them, I knew that they were lace, but the lighting in the room wasn't good enough for me to tell that those are knit stitches. It's lace, but it is like a knitted chart for lace from one of those old knitting how-to books. These are gorgeous. And I like to keep a basket like this sitting on my end table while I'm stitching or knitting, so I have something to keep all the little bits from sliding off onto the floor or down into the couch cushions, never to be seen again. My daughter is brilliant when it comes to picking out presents for people. And I've been knitting. I started this on Christmas, just after I finished the sweater. And between Christmas and January 2nd, I have done a lot. This is just garter stitch. It's the kind of knitting that I don't have to particularly look at it. I definitely don't have to count anything. And I've just been picking it up when I had some spare time to work on it. And yesterday morning, my boys and we were looking for one movie on the Roku, and that wasn't there. So we watched another horror movie that popped up because it looked terrible, but in a good way. And then we found Nightmare Shark. Imagine the Nightmare on Elm Street movies if Freddy Krueger was a shark. It's ridiculously terrible, but I sat and watched it with my boys with all of the accompanying commentary. And apparently the producers of this have like a whole cinematic universe of bad shark movies. So as soon as my son has time off for work, when I have time, I can sit down and watch it with him. We're watching Trailer Park Sharks because that's the prequel to Nightmare Shark. We've all been told that knitting and stitching reduces stress, and I 100% believe that. So why haven't I been doing more of it over the past 3 years? This past week and a half or so, as far as my stress meter, has been ridiculous. Thursday night before Christmas, it got icy. And I don't drive in ice. I don't drive in snow. For 20 years, I never had to drive in unpleasant conditions. But I drive my son to work, and a couple of times this year and last year I've driven in conditions that weren't my favorite. Thursday, we were told it was going to get nasty, but we are always told it's going to get nasty. And a lot of times that never comes to pass. So my husband drove him to work that night. It was bad. But we told him, you know, in the morning, maybe you'll have to wait a couple hours for the roads to get clear enough for me to go get you. See if you can pick up some overtime. It'll be fine. Hindsight, he never should have gone to work. Hindsight, my husband should have gone to work Friday morning. He made it by the skin of his teeth. And I spent Friday morning 7 hours watching weather and road reports on the internet, trying to determine when it was safe to go get my kid, because no, it is not worth dying for. Yes, it would be better to stay home, but the answer is not to leave my child stranded one city over until after Christmas when things thaw out. It was a stressful morning for me and for him, and you know, we had backup plans for the weather, and this just kind of eclipsed them all. Everybody was safe and sound. Nothing happened, but that 7 hours raised my blood pressure a bit. Then a couple nights ago, we had a hell of a windstorm. We've got big trees. We have one very, very big tree. About 2 in the morning, stuff starts hitting the top of the house, but it's the normal windstorm stuff. About 5 in the morning, suddenly a lot of stuff got hit in the house, and then there was a crash. About 5 seconds after that, I've got a tapping on my bedroom door that my younger 2 boys want to make sure I heard the crash. Look out the window, and there are branches where I'm pretty sure there shouldn't be branches. It is pitch black. It is a windstorm. So me and the 2 boys who were home went into the front end of the house, not under the big tree, and sat there and listened to the wind howl and watched movies until the sun came up and my husband came home. It was just a big branch. The big branch hit the... Big branches out of this tree are like the size of the trees in my mom's yard. It hit the siding just above our window. Made a lot of noise, didn't do any damage, thank God, but I spent the morning knitting, waiting for the sun to come up, waiting to see if I still had a roof. And you know, I probably should have spent more of the past 3 years knitting and stitching, because one of the big reasons I started cross-stitching was my husband had just started working nights, and very big full coverage confetti kits and patterns kept my mind off of what's that noise? What's that sound? What's that creak? And I did that for years. I think I need to start doing it again. Let me know, does knitting make your stress level go down, or stitching, or whatever your other hobby of choice is? Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and I'll be back with you with more videos soon. I'm going to go stitch on my cat because I might have this done by my next update. I love this little cat.